I was finishing up some work emails on a Thursday afternoon when my phone lit up with a text from my wife. Nothing unusual about that, except lately these messages had a pattern I couldn't ignore anymore. Shopping all day with Ashley. We'll be home late. Ashley. That name again. For the past 2 months, Ashley had become her favorite excuse for everything. Girls' night? Ashley. Weekend brunch? Ashley. Late evening shopping trips? Always Ashley. Here's the thing though. In 8 years of marriage, I'd never met Ashley. Never seen a photo. Never heard a last name. And when I casually asked about her a few weeks back, my wife got weirdly defensive, changed the subject fast, and suddenly remembered she had laundry to do. I stared at that text for a solid minute. My gut had been telling me something was off, and I'd learned to trust my gut. So instead of my usual, okay, drive safe, response, I typed something different. Tell Ashley's husband I said hi. I hit send and set my phone down. Then I waited. 12 minutes. That's how long it took. 12 minutes before I heard her car in the driveway. 12 minutes before the front door opened and she walked in. No shopping bags. Face pale, hands shaking slightly as she set her keys on the counter. I was sitting in the living room, laptop still open, acting like nothing happened. She stood in the doorway, trying to compose herself, but failing miserably. Hey, she said, voice tight. I thought you'd still be working. I am working, I said, not looking up from my screen. Thought you were shopping all day. I forgot my wallet. Had to come back. I finally looked at her. Your wallet's right there on the counter. Same place you always leave it. She glanced at it, then back at me. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. I'd never seen her this rattled. Want to try again? I asked calmly. Try what again? The truth. About where you were actually going. About who Ashley actually is. The color drained from her face completely now. She grabbed the back of the couch for support. I don't know what you mean. Ashley's my friend from. Stop. I closed my laptop and stood up. Just stop. You got back here in 12 minutes. 12. You know why? Because you panicked. Because something about that text made you drop everything and rush home. She tried to maintain eye contact, but couldn't. Her gaze dropped to the floor. So here's what's going to happen. I continued, keeping my voice level. You're going to sit down, and you're going to tell me the truth. Not a version of the truth. Not a story you think I want to hear. The actual truth. Because we both know Ashley isn't who you've been saying she is. You're being paranoid, she tried, but her voice cracked on the last word. Am I? Then show me your phone. Right now? Let me see these messages between you and Ashley. Let me see photos of you two shopping together. Let me see anything that proves I'm just being paranoid. Her hand instinctively went to her purse, protective. My phone is private. So is a marriage. But here we are. The silence that followed was deafening. She stood there, purse clutched to her chest, looking everywhere except at me. Outside, I could hear kids playing in a neighbor's yard. A dog barking. Normal sounds on a normal Thursday afternoon. Except nothing about this was normal anymore. Sit down, I said again, pointing to the chair across from me. Because this conversation is happening whether you want it to or not. And how it goes depends entirely on whether you decide to respect me enough to tell the truth. She slowly moved to the chair and sat on the edge, like she might need to run at any moment. Her fingers twisted together in her lap. I've known something was wrong for weeks, I said. The late nights. The secret of phone calls. The way you angle your screen away when I walk by. And always, this mysterious Ashley who I've somehow never met, never seen, never heard a single specific detail about. So let's start simple. Who is Ashley? And don't you dare lie to me again. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Her eyes were getting wet, but I wasn't moved. Tears had been her go-to manipulation tactic for years whenever she didn't want to deal with something. Not this time. I'm waiting, I said, crossing my arms. And just so you know, how you answer right now is going to determine everything that happens next. She took a shaky breath and wiped her eyes. Ashley is a friend from work. We've been working on a project together and… Stop. I leaned forward. Last chance. Truth or consequences. Your choice. Her resolve crumbled. Okay. Ashley's name is actually Ashton. He's a co-worker in the marketing department. There it was. The truth finally crawling out. Go on, I said flatly. We started talking a few months ago about work stuff. Then it became more personal. But nothing happened. I swear nothing physical happened. I pulled out my phone and opened up a folder I created last week. Screenshots. Lots of them. You mean Ashton Parker? 29 years old, works at your company for 3 years, divorced 6 months ago, drives a blue Mazda. Her face went white. How did you? Because I'm not stupid. You think I didn't notice the pattern? Every time you mentioned Ashley, I paid attention. Your company directory is public on LinkedIn. Took me about 15 minutes to figure out there's no Ashley in your department, but there is an Ashton. Single Ashton who posts gym selfies and motivational quotes about fresh starts. She looked like she might be sick. Want to know what else I found? I continued. Your car was parked at Riverside Coffee House last Tuesday. Same place Ashton checked in on his Instagram story. 2 hours. Middle of a workday. We were just talking. About what? About how unfulfilled you are. About how you deserve better. Let me guess, he really listens to you, right? He gets you in a way I never could. She flinched at every word. How many times? I asked. How many secret coffee dates? How many lunch meetings that weren't actually about work? How many times did you text him goodnight while lying in bed next to me? It wasn't like that, she said weakly. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm sitting, my wife has been having an emotional affair and lying to my face for months. I never meant for it to go this far. It just happened. I stood up abruptly. No, that's not how this works. You don't trip and fall into another man's messages. You don't accidentally spend hours texting someone inappropriate things. You made choices. Every single day, you made choices. She started crying harder now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll end it. I'll block him right now. We can fix this. Fix this. I let out a laugh with no humor in it. You think you can just snap your fingers and fix months of lies? Months of disrespect? Do you have any idea what you've done? Please, she reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Please, let's talk about this. We can go to counseling. We can work through this. Hand me your phone. What? Your phone. Give it to me right now. That's an invasion of privacy. Privacy. I cut her off. You lost the right to privacy the moment you started sneaking around with another man. Phone. Now. With trembling hands, she pulled it from her purse and handed it over. I opened her messages and found his name immediately. The chat was extensive. I scrolled up, reading message after message. Flirty texts. Complaints about me. Plans to meet up. Inside jokes. Good morning messages. Photos of him at the gym asking if she liked his new haircut. My jaw clenched as I kept scrolling. Months of this. Months of my wife building an entire separate relationship while pretending everything was fine at home. You told him our marriage was falling apart. I said, reading one particular message. You told him I don't appreciate you, that I'm always working, that you feel invisible. I was venting. To another man. To a man who was obviously trying to get with you. A man you kept meeting up with. A man you lied about to me over and over. I took screenshots of everything, sent them to myself, then handed her phone back. What are you doing? She asked nervously. Documenting. Because you're going to try to gaslight me later. You're going to try to minimize this or claim I'm overreacting. But I have proof now. Proof of every lie, every secret meeting, every inappropriate message. Where are you going? She asked as I headed toward the stairs. To the guest room. I'm sleeping there tonight. And tomorrow, you're going to start looking for somewhere else to stay. What? No. This is my home too. I turned back to face her. A home you disrespected. A marriage you betrayed. Actions have consequences. You taught me that. Now you're going to learn it. You can't just kick me out. Watch me. You've got 24 hours to figure out your next move. Call your parents. Call a friend. I don't care. But you're not staying here while I process the fact that my wife has been building a relationship with another man behind my back. I made a mistake, she sobbed. People make mistakes. Mistakes are accidents. This was a choice. Multiple choices over multiple months. And you know what the worst part is? You only stopped because you got caught. That text spooked you because you knew I was onto something. If I hadn't sent that message, you'd be with him right now, probably planning your next lie to tell me tonight. She had no response to that because we both knew it was true. I grabbed my laptop and headed upstairs, leaving her crying in the living room. My hands were steady, my mind clear. This wasn't anger, it was clarity. Pure, cold clarity about exactly what needed to happen next. And what needed to happen was her gone. I barely slept that night. Not because I was upset, but because my mind was already 3 steps ahead, planning every move. By 6 in the morning, I was up, showered, and making coffee when she came downstairs looking like she hadn't slept at all. Can we talk? She asked quietly. Not right now. I have calls to make. Calls. What calls? I didn't answer. Just took my coffee to the home office and closed the door. First call was to my buddy Clark, who's a divorce attorney. We played basketball together for years, and I knew he'd give it to me straight. I need a consultation, I told him after the usual greetings. Today, if possible. That's serious? Yeah, that's serious. He fit me in for 11. Second call was to my bank. I explained I needed to understand my options regarding joint accounts. They scheduled me for tomorrow morning. Third call was to my brother. I need you to do me a favor, I said. Don't ask questions yet, just trust me. Can you come by this weekend and help me move some things into storage? Everything okay? It will be. I'll explain later. By the time I emerged from the office, she was sitting at the kitchen table, phone in hand, eyes red. I ended it, she said. I sent Ashton a message saying it was wrong and we can't talk anymore. I poured myself more coffee. Good for you. Want a medal? Don't be like that. Like what? Like a husband who just found out his wife was having an emotional affair. I told you nothing physical happened. And I told you I don't care. I turned to face her. You think physical is the only line that matters? You shared things with him that you should have shared with me. You complained about our marriage to another man instead of talking to me. You built intimacy with someone else. That's betrayal. Period. She set her phone down. What did you mean about calls? What are you planning? I'm planning to protect myself. Financially, legally, emotionally. I'm planning to make sure that when this ends, and it is ending, I'm not left holding the bag. When this ends, you mean divorce. What else would I mean? Her voice rose. You're not even going to try? We've been together 8 years, and you're just going to throw it away? I almost laughed. I'm throwing it away? That's rich. You spent months texting another man, meeting him secretly, lying to my face every single day, and somehow I'm the one throwing things away. We can fix this if you just. No, we can't, because the problem isn't what you did. The problem is who you are. You're someone who lies, someone who disrespects their marriage, someone who, when caught, immediately tries to minimize and shift blame. That's not fixable. She stood up abruptly. So that's it. 8 years means nothing to you. Those 8 years meant everything to me. Past tense. You killed them. You took what we had and you destroyed it for some guy at work who gave you attention. Don't put this on me. I'm not leaving this house, she said defiantly. You can't make me. I pulled out my phone and opened the photos I'd taken yesterday. These screenshots show you planning to meet Ashton at his place. That message right there where you said you'd tell me you were working late. Want me to show these to your parents? Your friends? Want them to know exactly what kind of person you've become? Her defiance crumbled. That's blackmail. No, that's consequences. You can leave with some dignity, or you can make this ugly. Your choice. But either way, you're leaving. The doorbell rang. She looked confused. I wasn't. That'll be the locksmith, I said casually. The what? Locksmith. I'm changing the locks today. When you come back for your things, you'll need to schedule it with me first. You can't do that. This is my house too. Actually, you should check the deed. This house is in my name. My down payment. My mortgage payments for the past 5 years. You wanted to focus on your career instead of contributing to the mortgage, remember? Your name was never added. I walked to answer the door, leaving her standing there speechless. The locksmith was an older guy named Walt who looked like he'd seen every kind of domestic situation imaginable. Just the front and back doors? He asked. And the garage. All 3. While Walt worked, I went back inside. She was on her phone, probably calling someone for support. I didn't care who. I went upstairs and started pulling her clothes from the closet, folding them neatly into suitcases I'd pulled from storage. She appeared in the doorway. What are you doing? Packing. Helping you out. Stop it. Just stop. Her voice broke. Why are you being so cold? I paused, holding one of her sweaters. You want to know why? Because 3 days ago, you texted him saying you wished you'd met him before you met me. That you felt trapped. That you were only staying because divorce was complicated. Her face went pale. You read that far back? I read everything. Every single message. And you know what I realized? You weren't conflicted. You weren't confused. You knew exactly what you were doing. The only thing you regret is getting caught. That's not true. Then why did you tell him you loved him? Silence. Yeah, that message from 2 weeks ago. The one where you said you were falling for him and didn't know what to do. Want to explain that one? She sank onto the bed. I was confused. No, you were cheating. Emotionally, intimately, completely. And the fact that you didn't sleep with him doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. Because you gave him everything except that. You gave him your thoughts, your feelings, your attention, your affection. You gave him the parts of you that actually mattered. I zipped up the first suitcase. So yeah, I'm being cold. Because warm got me lies. Warm got me betrayed. Cold is what protects me now. Walt knocked on the doorframe. All done, sir. New keys for you. I followed him downstairs, paid him, and took the fresh set of keys. When I came back up, she was still on the bed, surrounded by half-packed suitcases. You have until tomorrow evening, I said. Take what you need. The rest we'll figure out later. But you're not sleeping here tonight. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. You should have thought about that before you started texting another man that you loved him. I left her there and went back to my office. I had more calls to make, more plans to execute. She'd made her choices. Now I was making mine. And my choice was simple: move forward like she never existed. She left that evening with 3 suitcases and her dignity in shreds. I watched from the window as she loaded her car, making 2 trips because she couldn't carry everything at once. Part of me wondered if I should help. The other part remembered those messages and stayed right where I was. My phone rang 20 minutes after she drove off. Her mother. What is going on? Eleanor demanded. She just showed up here crying saying you kicked her out. Did she tell you why? Something about a misunderstanding with a coworker. She says you're overreacting. I took a breath. Eleanor had always been fair with me, even defended me when her daughter was being unreasonable. She deserved the truth. It wasn't a misunderstanding. She's been having an emotional affair for months. Secret meetings, hundreds of inappropriate messages, telling him she loved him. I have screenshots of everything if you want to see them. The line went quiet for a long moment. Send them to me. Eleanor finally said, her voice different now. I forwarded a selection of the worst messages. Nothing graphic, but enough to show the depth of what had been going on. 3 minutes later, my phone rang again. I'm sorry, Eleanor said quietly. I had no idea. When she told us her version, I thought maybe you two just needed to communicate better. But this is different. Yeah, it is. What are you going to do? Divorce. Already talked to a lawyer this morning. I'm not interested in counseling or second chances. She made her choice. I understand. And I'm sorry you're going through this. You've always been good to her. Better than she deserved, apparently. That conversation mattered more than Eleanor probably knew. Her parents had money and influence in their social circle. Having them on my side meant she couldn't spin this into me being the villain. The next day, I met with Clark at his office. He reviewed everything I'd brought, nodded occasionally, made notes. This is pretty straightforward, he said. Emotional affair is grounds. You have documentation, the house is yours, and you don't have kids. She'll probably ask for spousal support, but given the circumstances and the short length of marriage, I can argue against it. How long does this take? In this state? If she doesn't fight it, we could be done in 4 months. If she fights, could stretch to 8 or 9. She'll fight. Most do, but she doesn't have much ground to stand on here. The evidence is overwhelming. I left his office feeling more in control. This was happening. No going back now. That weekend, my brother helped me box up all her remaining stuff. Photos came down off the walls. Her decorative pillows went into storage. The candles she insisted on having everywhere got packed away. By Sunday evening, the house looked completely different. Cleaner. Simpler. Mine. Monday morning, I composed a message on LinkedIn. Professional, direct, no emotion. Ashton, I'm the husband. I know everything. I know about the coffee meetings, the messages, all of it. I'm not here to threaten you or cause drama. Just wanted you to know that whatever she told you about our marriage being over or us having problems, she was lying. We were fine until you came along. I hope the attention was worth it, because you helped destroy a marriage. Have a good day. I sent it and marked it so anyone connected to both of us could see it. His profile showed he worked with at least a dozen people from her office. They'd all see it now. My phone exploded an hour later. Her, calling over and over. I let it go to voicemail. How could you, her message said. You humiliated me at work. Everyone's talking about it. You had no right. I texted back. You had no right to cheat. We're even. She tried calling again. I blocked the number. Tuesday, her friend Vanessa reached out. She was one of the few people from my wife's circle I'd always liked. Direct, no drama, told it like it was. Is it true? Vanessa asked when I answered. The affair? Yeah, I thought something was off. She kept mentioning this new friend, but was weird about details. And she's been different lately. Distant. You're not here to defend her? No. I'm here to say I'm sorry this happened, and if you need anything, let me know. Also, you should know she's telling people you were controlling, and that's why she sought attention elsewhere. Of course she was. Classic move. I've got screenshots that tell a different story, I said. If people ask you, feel free to tell them I have proof of everything. Will do. Take care of yourself. That call mattered too. Vanessa was the social hub of their friend group. If she wasn't defending my wife, others wouldn't either. Wednesday evening, her father called. This one I was nervous about. Gerald had always been neutral, quiet, the kind of guy who stayed out of conflicts. I saw the messages Eleanor showed me, he said without preamble. I'm disappointed in my daughter. You didn't deserve that. Thank you for saying that. She's asking us to talk to you, to convince you to give her another chance. We told her no. I appreciate that. You're a good man. You'll land on your feet. She'll figure out what she lost eventually. But that's her problem now, not yours. After we hung up, I sat in the quiet house and realized something. I wasn't sad. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was relieved, like a weight I'd been carrying without realizing it was finally gone. Thursday, exactly 1 week after that text message, my lawyer called. She's been served. Her lawyer already called mine trying to negotiate. They want to avoid court. Keep this quiet. What are they offering? Split of shared assets, no spousal support, quick resolution. Counter with this. She gets her personal items and her car. I keep the house, the savings, the furniture. She waives spousal support and we're done. That's aggressive. So was cheating on me. Fair point. I'll send it over. Friday evening, her lawyer responded. They accepted. She was giving up everything just to make it go away fast. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I just felt tired. Tired of thinking about her, talking about her, dealing with her. I wanted it over. And now it would be. For months, maybe less, and she'd be completely out of my life. I poured myself a drink and sat on the back deck watching the sunset. The house was quiet. My house. My space. My peace. She tried to build something with Ashton while keeping me as backup. Instead, she lost both. I heard through Vanessa that Ashton wanted nothing to do with her after my LinkedIn message. Apparently, having an affair exposed publicly wasn't the fresh start he'd imagined. Consequences. They catch up with everyone eventually. I raised my glass to the sunset. Here's to new chapters. Here's to self-respect. Here's to never settling for someone who doesn't value what they have. And here's to that text message. Best 12 words I ever sent. 2 weeks later, I got a text from Vanessa saying there was a dinner gathering at Marco's, an Italian place we'd all been to dozens of times as a group. She wanted to know if I was coming. Is she going to be there? I asked. She said she was. But honestly, after what happened, I think people want to hear your side. She's been playing victim and it's not sitting right with anyone. I thought about it. Part of me wanted to avoid the drama entirely. But the other part knew that if I didn't show up, she'd control the narrative by default. I'll be there. Saturday evening, I walked into Marco's and immediately felt the energy shift. There were about 12 people there, friends we'd known for years. She was already seated at the far end, and her face went pale when she saw me. Hey man, Trevor said, shaking my hand. Glad you made it. I took a seat in the middle of the table, deliberately not looking at her. Ordered a beer, made small talk with the people around me. Everything felt normal until about 20 minutes in when she couldn't help herself. So you're just going to ignore me? She said loudly enough for everyone to hear. The table went quiet. I'm not ignoring you, I said calmly. I'm just not engaging with you. There's a difference. You humiliated me at work. You sent that message to Ashton where everyone could see it. I took a sip of my beer. Interesting way to frame it. Want to tell everyone why I sent that message. She shifted uncomfortably. You're twisting things. Am I? Vanessa, you asked me for the truth earlier this week. Should I share it with everyone, or do you want to? Vanessa looked between us. I think everyone deserves to know what happened. My wife's friend Lauren jumped in. We've heard her version. She said you were distant and controlling, and she made a mistake seeking emotional support elsewhere. Emotional support, I repeated slowly. That's one way to describe months of secret meetings and telling another man you loved him. Lauren's eyes widened. What? I pulled out my phone and opened the screenshots folder. I have hundreds of messages. Want to see them? Or should I just read a few highlights? Don't, my wife said quickly. That's private. Private? You shared our private marriage problems with Ashton. You told him intimate details about our relationship. You complained about me to another man for months. But now you want privacy. The table was dead silent. Everyone stared at her. Let's see. I scrolled through. Here's one from 6 weeks ago. Quote, I wish I'd met him first. I feel stuck. End quote. Here's another from a month ago. He doesn't make me feel the way Ashton does. Maybe I married the wrong person. Her face was crimson. Stop it. Or how about this one? I'm only staying because divorce is messy, but I think about leaving every day. Trevor whistled low. Damn. And my personal favorite. I continued. From 2 weeks before I caught you. I think I'm falling in love with him. I don't know what to do. She stood up abruptly. You had no right to go through my phone. You had no right to cheat on me. But here we are. It wasn't cheating. Nothing physical happened. I stood up too, keeping my voice level. You shared things with him that you should have shared with me. You built intimacy with another man. You lied to me every single day for months. You planned your exits around his schedule. You told him you loved him. That's cheating. The fact that you didn't sleep with him just means you got caught before you could. Lauren looked at her. Is this true? She couldn't meet anyone's eyes. It's more complicated than he's making it sound. No, Vanessa said firmly. It's exactly as simple as he's making it sound. You had an affair. He caught you. Now you're trying to make yourself the victim. I made a mistake. Mistakes are accidents. I cut her off. You accidentally send a text to the wrong person. You accidentally forget an anniversary. You don't accidentally build a months-long relationship with another man. Those were choices. Every single message, every secret meeting, every lie you told me. All choices. Another friend, Derek, shook his head. I defended you when people started talking. I told them there had to be more to the story. But this is indefensible. She grabbed her purse. I don't have to sit here and be attacked. No one's attacking you, I said. We're just stating facts. You cheated. You got caught. You're trying to rewrite history so you're not the villain. But the evidence doesn't lie. You're enjoying this, she hissed. You're enjoying humiliating me. I looked at her, this person I'd been married to for 8 years, and felt nothing but indifference. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm just done protecting your reputation while you destroy mine. You want to play victim? Fine. But these people deserve to know the truth about what happened. Not your version where you were driven to it by my failures. The truth where you chose to betray your marriage and are now facing consequences. She looked around the table, looking for support, and found none. Even Lauren, her closest friend, was staring at her like she didn't recognize her. I'm leaving, she announced. Good idea, Trevor said quietly. She grabbed her coat and stormed out. The door slammed behind her. The table stayed quiet for a moment before Derek spoke up. Man, I'm sorry. That's brutal. It is what it is, I said, sitting back down. I tried to keep it private, handle it quietly. But she started spreading lies about why we split. At some point, the truth has to come out. Vanessa put her hand on my arm. For what it's worth, no one here is judging you. We're judging her. The rest of the dinner was subdued but supportive. People asked questions, I answered honestly. No embellishments, no drama, just facts. By the time we left, I knew the story was going to spread through our social circle fast. And for once, it would be the version that was accurate. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in weeks. She tried to ambush me, tried to control the room, and it backfired completely. Now everyone knew. Now there was no hiding behind half-truths. My phone buzzed with a text from her around midnight. You destroyed me tonight. I hope you're happy. I typed back. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped covering for you. Then I blocked her number. Again, this time for good. The next morning, Vanessa texted me. Half the people from last night have reached out saying they had no idea it was that bad. Lauren especially feels terrible for defending her. Just wanted you to know. I appreciated the update. Not because I needed validation, but because it meant the truth was finally out there. No more whispers, no more wondering who believed what. Monday, my lawyer called with good news. She'd signed the divorce papers. No fight, no negotiation, just signed. She wants this over as fast as possible, Clark said, probably because of social fallout. Her lawyer says she's anxious to move on. How long until it's final? Judge should sign off in about 3 months. But effectively, you're done. It's just paperwork now. I hung up and looked around my house. My space, my peace, my future. She'd gambled on having both me and Ashton, playing it safe while exploring her options. Instead, she lost everything. her marriage, her reputation, her social circle, and according to Vanessa, Ashton wanted nothing to do with her once things got messy. That's the thing about consequences. They don't care about your intentions or excuses. They just show up and demand payment. And she was paying in full. 3 months later, the judge signed the papers. I was officially divorced on a Tuesday afternoon while sitting in my home office. No ceremony, no drama. Just an email from Clark with a PDF attachment. I stared at it for a minute, waiting to feel something. Relief? Sadness? Nothing came. Just peace. The house sold 2 weeks after that. I decided fresh starts required fresh spaces. Bought a smaller place across town, 2 bedrooms, nothing fancy. But it was mine. Every piece of furniture, every paint color, every decision. Mine. I started coaching youth basketball on weekends, something I'd wanted to do for years, but she'd always complained about the time commitment. Reconnected with old friends I'd drifted from. Took that trip to Colorado I'd been postponing forever. Life wasn't perfect, but it was honest. No more walking on eggshells. No more wondering if I was enough. No more lies. For months post-divorce, I ran into her at Target. She was in the cereal aisle, looked tired. Saw me and froze. "Hi," she said quietly. "Hey." Awkward silence. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, then closed it. "How are you?" she finally asked. "Good. You?" "Fine. Living with my parents temporarily. New job. Starting over." "That's good." More silence. She looked like she wanted to explain, apologize, something. I didn't need any of it. "Well, take care," I said, moving past her. "Wait," she called out. I turned back. "I'm sorry. For everything. I know it doesn't matter now, but I am." I nodded. "Okay." That was it. No dramatic closure, no emotional breakdown. Just 2 people who used to know each other, now strangers in a Target. I paid for my groceries and drove home. Put everything away, made dinner, called my brother to confirm weekend plans. Normal life. Simple life. Honest life. That text message, those 12 words, had changed everything. "Tell Ashley's husband I said hi." It had exposed the lie, forced the truth, and ultimately freed me. People ask if I regret how it ended. The answer's always the same. No. Because staying would have been slower death. At least this way, I got my life back. And that's worth everything.